Today we are covering off the new feature that we have within the Groups module for attaching rates through the Rate Wizard module. So when creating a group, we're going to go into Operations, Groups, and the rest is kind of the same as how we used to create a group. So I'm not going to be covering the steps of how to create a group. We are mainly focusing on the new functionality within the rate area. So we're going to do the Weyerhaeuser Christmas party. We do our group ID. We're going to have them coming in on the 22nd of December. I'm going to allow for pre and post nights. We'll allow for 3 pre, 3 post. We're going to do our group note here, letting the front desk know and reservation agents know that all charges are to the individual. Here we're going to put our address of the group contact with Weyerhaeuser. Okay, and now we're going to skip to the Rates tab, and this is the new functionality that we put in. So if I go to number 3, Rates, you notice that here we have a shortcut to the Rate Wizard. Now when we get to this screen, we're going to have no rates attached to group in Rate Wizard. As a side note, this functionality will only work for those hotels using the Rate Wizard area. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on the Rate Wizard. And this is just a shortcut right into the Rate Wizard area, and here we have all existing rate plans. Now, we can certainly create a new rate plan at this time to attach to the group, or we can use an existing rate plan. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go down and I have a group rate selected here. I'm going to click the Edit button down below. And you'll notice in the Rate Wizard we made a change as well. We added a 4th tab, the Groups tab. In this Groups tab, you're going to see all future groups only. So any groups that have departed from the hotel will no longer show up in this screen. So all future groups are going to show up in here. As a side note here, if you have a lot of return groups in the future that maybe have the same name, so here notice I have Johnson Insurance, you might want to find a way to distinguish between your groups on the screen. You'll notice here I did JTB Fall Colors, JTB Fall Colors 2, or even putting a date, so Talk World Discovery 10/01/14. Okay, so some way of distinguishing your groups on here. Okay, so the new group that we're building is a Weyerhaeuser Christmas party. So I'm going to check the box here. We are not going to allow this group to be booked online, only Hotel Direct. So I'm only going to choose for Hotel Direct. I'm going to click Update. We're then going to close out the new rate. I'm going to close out the Rate Wizard area. Now when I get back to the group area, you'll notice down below the group rate has already attached. And in fact, it is already attached to all my room types. So before, you used to have to go through and attach to every single room type you have. And some hotels that had 16 to 20 room types, this could be a lengthy process. So what Roomkey is doing is it's assigning the group rate to every single room type that you have on that rate plan. The next benefit here is if I click on the drop down and choose my group rate, I can also set this as the default rate. So notice down below the default rate that you used to have to set before is now set on every room type. So why we have this group default rate, we could indeed attach 2 separate rates. So say I attach the complimentary rate to this group as well, because maybe I'm giving a comp room to the lead of the group. So when I come back and I have the 2 rates attached now, the complimentary rate and group rate, this still allows me to set that group rate as the default. for every room type. Now, if you do want to offer a different rate on a different rate plan, so say for my suite, I did want to do something different, you can certainly go to that suite and you can change around the rates within here. So you can still make modifications down below. This is just if you're using the same rate for every room type, which most hotels do as a best practice, then we assign that rate. Okay, the next new feature that we put in is the override attach rates. So what this allows me to do is go in, and down below I'm going to see my rate that is currently set for this group rate. Now up top here we have my 3 pre-arrival, I have my 3-day post-arrival, and I have my 1-day main group block. So at this point I can go through and I can change the rates here. So right now my rate is $200. I'm going to give a deal to this group of $175. As a side note, if you had set up the template over in the Rate Wizard area, that template would flow over to this area as well. Okay, and then I can go through and I can override all my rates on my grid. To the negotiated rates that we have for this particular group. Okay, I'm then going to click Save. Rate override saved successfully. I click OK. And then down below we can see indeed for all nights the rate has been overridden. Now you'll also notice we have an override rates by date range. So if you prefer to do it this way, right? So if I want to do just the group day, I can uncheck the 3 pre, 3 post, override the grid and save, and that will put it in just for December 22nd. Or you can go to the date range here, choose the 22nd to the 22nd. Okay, I'm going to save. Rate override saved successfully. I click OK. And now you'll see that for the date of the group, the rate is a little bit different. So I'm offering a special deal just on the night that the group is coming in. And for the pre and post nights, I'm still offering a deal, but just a little bit higher than the date of the actual group. Okay, so you can do the rate override for different nights of the group. Now, a side note I do want to say here, from training over the years, I have noticed that a lot of hotels will use manual rate because we're negotiating different rates for different groups at any given time, and based on the amount of rooms, based on the competition and what they're quoting, we could be offering many different rates. So as a suggestion and a best practice, instead of using manual rate moving forward, we would suggest creating a group rate. In the Rate Wizard, you can tier it off of bar, making it equal to bar, and use the rate override every time instead of using the manual rate. And the reason we're moving this direction is, if you look at certain reports in our system, manual rates does lose its meaning on those reports. For example, a report based on rate plans, if we see best available rate, we know that that is leisure. If we see a group rate, we know that is towards group. If we see a corporate rate, that's towards corporate as far as our market segmentation. Manual rate does lose its meaning because we don't know where that was assigned to. So there's a way of overcoming that manual rate. So moving forward, we would highly suggest going this route as a best practice. Okay, now I am going to show one other feature that we added into the rooming list area. I'm going to go do my block first. The block is all the same at this point. And if I go to my rooming list tab, so right off the bat, you'll notice we have the two-head column. For those of you working in the reservations, you know this is indeed the shares area. So the benefit here is when I create my first person, I can then go to that two-headed column, double-click. I can quickly put my share. Transaction successfully completed. OK. And now we have the two-head showing up. So this just made it a little bit quicker of getting that share in there. OK, so those are the new features within the group area. Really hope you like the features that we have put in, and certainly would like any feedback you have on the new features that we put in. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your time, and have a great day.